Hey, you! You're watching a highlight from the DynamiteGizmo podcast. This is not the full episode. It is just a clip. But if you want to watch the full episode, make sure to click right here. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Do it right now. Okay, so the first fight of the night is Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. So Santos is 10-1 in the UFC, or I guess his fight record is 10-1. This is his UFC debut. Okay, he is coming off a win in the Dana White Contender Series. He has also held the middleweight title in Thunder Fight before he entered into the UFC. Diaz won the middleweight title in both LFA and Lights Out Championship. He has had one fight and one loss in the UFC. And for this, I am going for Santos. So fight number 2, we've got Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Okay, it's the sexy Mexi. Gutierrez won and defended once the SCS title. He also won the WFC title. He has had performance of the night on a fight night in the UFC. And in the UFC, he has had 9 wins and 3 losses. He has won multiple fights in his amateur career, and he also has a win over Frankie Edgar, which is really kind of fascinating. Frankie Edgar was a champion at one point in the UFC. Now, Castaneda has 4 wins and 3 losses in the UFC. He has had the Combat American title, and he's had 2 amateur titles in 2 different weight classes. So based off of what I said there, I'm going to go for Gutierrez. All right. Next up, we have another Santos, Marion Santos versus Francis Marshall. All right. Santos is 14-1. His fight record, he won the Ultimate Fighter, 1 win and only 1 fight in the UFC so far. So he is already debuted, and he's already off to a great start. If you did see this guy in the Ultimate Fighter, you would have seen the potential that he has. This guy is a dominant force, and I think he is going to excel greatly in the UFC. As for Marshall, on the other hand, he has had 2 wins and 2 losses in the UFC. He has also had the BFC amateur title. There's not a whole lot to say about this guy, and because of the fact that I've seen Santos rise up in the ranks and he's doing a great job, I think he's going to take it. We move on to fight number 4. We've got Alex Morano versus Carlos Leal. Alex Morano, okay, he's been around the block. He has a win against Donald Cerrone, and that fight that he did win against Donald Cerrone was performance of the night. He has 13 wins and 8 losses in the UFC. He has won a legacy title. Now, that all may sound good, but you've got guys who don't like him, specifically the MMA Guru, who I just watched very recently, and that's why I bring him up. He has a strong dislike for Morano. Says, well, not a strong dislike. He just says he doesn't put in a lot of effort. We're not seeing much out of him. And when you compare Alex Morano to Carlos Leal has 1 loss and only 1 fight in the UFC. But he was in the PFL prior to this, which is UFC's pretty much only dominant competitor, which isn't saying much because they're not much of a competitor. But he was 5-2 in the PFL. He has fought overweight twice. He has won the LFA tournament's final, and he has won and defended once the Sakurai title. Okay, so he's done some shit. He's had some titles, but he's pretty new to the UFC. I have seen Morano here and there. He is an underdog on this fight, And it is a plus 550 underdog, minus 950 favorite for Carlos Leal. So I think I'm going to go for Carlos on this one. Where the fuck did the rest of those go? Are they all down here? Yes, they are. Let me drag these up. Holy shit, how many did I fucking put? Where's the... Are there more here? No! What the hell? God damn it. As if I need to do all this. This is just wasting time. Oh, I know why. Copy, paste, paste. There we go. Okay. Okay, we move on to the Hulk versus Superman. And I said this while I was creating this sheet, and I'll say it again. There's too many fighters named Superman. Needs to stop. Stop calling yourself Superman. There's too many. Okay? We don't need any more Supermans. Anyway, Bruno Ferreira versus Armin Petrosian. Bruno Ferreira, 3 wins, 2 losses in the UFC, 2 consecutive performance of the night bonuses. He has also had the Big Shot MMA title. Petrosian, 3 wins, 3 losses in the UFC. One of those losses was just from Shara Magomedov, that double spinning back fist that we just saw. He has had the Pro FC title and defended it once. Now he also has a win over RoboCop. It's a pretty good fucking... That's a nice little tick on the old resume. But I'm going for Bruno Ferreira on this one. He is an underdog for now anyway, but I'm going for Bruno on this one. Next up, we've got Joshua Van versus Rai Saruya, okay? I'm not very familiar with Rai. Well, let's start with Van, okay? We've seen Van before. He's been around the block. He's doing pretty good in the UFC. 5 wins, 1 loss in the UFC. He's had the Fury title. And this Rai Saruya guy, he is 10-0. No losses yet in his professional career. 1 win, 1 fight in the UFC. And he has had the pancreas. I don't know why it's pancreas title. Okay, so they both had a title in the past, different promotions. Now, Joshua Van is recently ranked. He's number 15. And he is a really good fighter. And I've seen him a few times, and I like what I've seen. But when it comes to undefeated fighters, I love voting for them. I don't like to see I don't want to see them get a scratch on their record. And that may be a casual thing to say, but he's also Japanese. And we're not seeing enough Japanese fighters excel. At least in the UFC. Right, we had that Pantoja fight against what's his name? Can never remember his name. And I was hoping the Japanese fella was gonna Asakura. I was hoping Asakura was gonna take it, but he didn't. So I'm gonna go again for Saruya for this one. Okay, next up, fight number 7. We've got the OG Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kanayev. All right. So, Curtis Blades, ranked number 5 in the UFC. He just fought Tom Aspinall. That was his last fight. Tom defended the interim title for I don't know why, but that was his first defense, and it was against Curtis Blades, and obviously Tom won. Curtis Blades has 13 wins, 5 losses in the UFC. Curtis Blades has defeated Almeida, Rosenstruck, Volkov, DeSantos, Overeem. Those are the major names that he's come across and won. He has had the Illinois Regional Amateur title. He's also had 3 Performance of the Night bonuses. Rizvan Kanayev, this is his UFC debut. I got also more information from the MMA Guru. Apparently, this guy has been caught with multiple performance-enhancing drugs in his system in other promotions, and they let it slide. or maybe they didn't. But either way, he was caught with them. He has had the EFC title and defended it once. He's also had multiple amateur tournament finals. He was the winner on multiple amateur tournament finals. He is Russian. It's hard to go against a Russian, but he's a fat fuck. But a lot of heavyweights are. I want to see Blaydes continue to excel. The heavyweight roster is not really stacked right now. There's barely anybody in it. There's not a lot of names. I don't want to see this guy push up the ranks if he's gonna cheat and do performance enhancing drugs. So I want to see Blaydes excel. Now we're gonna move into the main card. Here we go. All right. So we've got Bobby Green. I'm not calling him King. We've got Bobby Green versus Mauricio Ruffi. Okay. Bobby Green. 13 wins, 11 losses in the UFC. He has defeated Jim Miller, Dawson, Ferguson, Iaquinta, Guida. He's a 3-time KOTC title winner. He has 4 Fight of the Night bonuses and 2 Performance of the Night bonuses. We saw him got fucking annihilated by Paddy Pimblett recently. Which is, Paddy's fucking awesome. So that was expected. But when you compare Bobby to Ruffi, so Ruffi has 2 wins and 0 losses in the UFC. And the biggest factor here, which is something that everyone should consider when voting for this fight, is the fact that he is a fighting nerd. The fighting nerds are dominating right now. All the fighting nerds in the UFC combined have a 0-loss record. These guys are dominating. We just saw Jean Silva excel fight after fight after fight. He just had one of the best performances he's ever had, and he's about to go up against Bryce Mitchell. Now we've got Mauricio Ruffi coming up to keep the fighting nerd status. He's had a Performance of the Night bonus, Centurion FC final tournament winner. He's also had an MFC title. So he's had multiple titles. He's a fighting nerd. They're rising up in the ranks. They're up-and-comers. They're great prospects. Yeah, Bobby Green's been in it for a while. Yeah, he can fight. But we want to see the fighting nerds excel. So I'm going for Ruffi. Next up, number 9. Oh, I didn't write anything for these girls. Did I not write? Oh, yeah, here we go. I got mixed up here. Okay, so we got Amanda Lemos versus Iceman Lucindo. Brazilian versus Brazilian. Okay? Lemos has 8 wins, 4 losses in the UFC. She has defeated Mackenzie Dern, which is a great fucking check off the resume. 2 Performance of the Night bonuses, 1 Fight of the Night bonus. She has had Jungle Fight title, and she has defended it twice. Lucinda has had 4 wins, 1 loss in the UFC, and she has had the Samurai Fight House title. Between these two girls, there's more qualifications on Amanda's side. She is an underdog going into this. Not by terribly a lot. Well, actually, yes, she is. A decent amount. She is ranked number 5, so she is ahead of Lucinda, but that's not the reason why. I'm just going for her because she has more qualifications, it would seem, because I'm not familiar with both of these girls. I have seen Lucinda fight before, and she does do good. I might switch my answer here, actually. I think I might go for Lucinda, now that I think about it. Ooh. This is... You know what? I'm going to go for Lucinda right now. This is a first time ever last-minute decision change. And I'm doing it, baby. You can't stop me. Let me just change it in my notes here. Last-minute change. Last-minute change. Boom, dude. Hell yeah. Okay. I was going to go for Lemos. Not anymore. I just feel it in my gut. I think Lucinda's going to take it. Okay, next up, fight number 10. This is going to be a fucking good one. Is it Jailton or Jalen? Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Baja Mendez. Turner has 7 wins, 5 losses in the UFC. He has defeated Bobby Green, and he's had 2 Performance of the Night bonuses and 1 CFL title. Baja Mendez, 5 wins, 2 losses in the UFC, 3 Performance of the Night bonuses. He's had the Lux Fight League title, XFN amateur title. So Jalen has been around. We've seen the Tarantula. The Tarantula is ranked, but Baja Mendez is coming up. He's rising up, and he can fucking bop, dude. I had a video lined up. I lost it, so we're not going to watch it. But I'm just going to go ahead and plug my vote into Baja Mendez right now. I just want to see if we're still recording. Yes, we are. What are we at? Yeah, this is a longer video, but that's okay. All right, which leads us into the co-main and main event. I'm not going to talk about their qualifications and all that because we already did that at the beginning of the video, so we're just going to go into my predictions. Like I said, a lot of people are kind of going for Fiziev on this one, especially since it was so close the first time. And Justin had that knockout since then, but I am still going to go for Justin Gaethje. I don't want to see him lose. And then in the main event, we're going for Alex, okay? Because there's so much potential for what can come. But if you voted for Ankalaev, I would not fault you because anything can happen, especially with this close matchup. All right? And with that being said, that's it for this episode of the Dynamite Gizmo podcast, UFC Countdown Edition. Remember, if you want this fight prediction sheet, the link is in the description. It will be available this Friday, March 7th. Remember, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. You know the drill. Bye!